Hey guys, Elimination Chamber 2021 is currently happening. First match was on the kickoff show, Fatal 4-Way to determine who's being added to the United States Championship match on the main card. Mustafa Ali versus John Morrison versus Ricochet versus Elias. This was a pretty good Fatal 4-Way match. All four of these guys are really good in the ring, and they delivered. Ricochet looked like a star here. He was able to hang with three heels at the same time, but it was not enough in the end. John Morrison was the one who came out victorious after members of Retribution took out Ricochet. Mustafa Ali was watching the whole thing. This allowed Morrison to sneak up behind him and rolling up for the pin and the win. So John Morrison is now officially added to the main Elimination Chamber card in the United States Championship match. After that, we had the main card start with the Smackdown Elimination Chamber match, and the stipulation here was whoever won this faced Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship immediately after. We had Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. Bryan and Cesaro, the first two entrants in the match, followed by Baron Corbin and then later Sami Zayn. Cesaro would actually get the first elimination when he made Baron Corbin tap. Kevin Owens then enters, and then last but certainly not least was Jey Uso. Owens actually had a really cool spot where he hit a moonsault off the top of a pod, and early in the match there's a spot where Sami Zayn and Cesaro are fighting on the edge or on the wall of the chamber, and Cesaro knocks Sami Zayn off and then does a couple chin-ups on the roof of the chamber. So Kevin Owens later eliminates Sami Zayn, and then Jey Uso would trap Kevin Owens' arm in the door to the chamber and would just hit him with non-stop super kicks, and that would eventually lead to Uso pinning Kevin Owens to eliminate him. After that, there was a one-legged swing from Cesaro to Daniel Bryan, but then Cesaro would eat a super kick from Jey Uso and then a frog splash, and Uso would eliminate Cesaro. So then we're down to the final two with Uso versus Daniel Bryan. Winner faces Roman Reigns immediately after for the title. Uso would hit a splash, Bryan would kick out, and Uso would hit another splash, or try to go for a splash at the top of the pod. He would miss after Daniel Bryan got his knees up. This would allow Daniel Bryan to eliminate Jey Uso and then face Roman Reigns immediately after for the belt. Reigns would go for a spear as soon as the bell rang, but then Uso would counter that, or Bryan would counter that into a yes lock. However, he had just gone through the Elimination Chamber match, so Reigns was able to power out that pretty easily. Just wails on Bryan and then eventually chokes him out. So he is still the Universal Champion, but he is speared immediately after by Edge. Edge making it known that he's going to face Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Next match on the card was a triple threat match for the United States Championship. Matt Riddle versus John Morrison versus Bobby Lashley. And this was another fun match. Elimination Chamber has been on a roll throughout the night so far. And as with this being triple threat, there's no rules. First one to score the fall wins. In the end, it was Bobby Lashley who had Morrison in a full Nelson, the Hurt Lock. And then Riddle would take MVP's crutch, smash on the back of Bobby Lashley, and then he would do it again to, I think, Morrison, and then he would end up pinning Morrison for the win. So Matt Riddle wins the United States Championship. I didn't see this coming. I thought for sure Lashley was going to retain, but now that they gave Riddle the belt, it's going to be interesting to see if he continues his feud with Lashley, possibly till the next pay-per-view, and then I could definitely see them putting the United States Championship up for grabs in some sort of multi-man ladder match at WrestleMania. Similar to what they used to do with Money in the Bank and the Tag Team Championships from WrestleMania's past. But yeah, Matt Riddle ends the night as the United States Champion. Alright guys, the next match was a Women's Tag Team Championship match. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defending their belts against Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, the two WrestleMania opponents. Now going into this, I thought either Banks or Belair was going to turn on the other and cost themselves the match. That was not the case. They actually remained a cohesive unit throughout the entire bout. Instead, it was Reginald who got involved. He tried to help out by handing Banks a bottle of champagne. The referee saw it, took the bottle away from Banks. This allowed Jax to capitalize. And yeah, Jax and Baszler retained their titles while Belair and Banks are still a team as of now, but they are definitely not happy with Reginald. In your main event, it was the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. Drew McIntyre defending against 5 other former WWE champions. They were Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and AJ Styles. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy started the match, and then Drew McIntyre entered, followed by Kofi Kingston. In a surprise early elimination, Kofi Kingston was able to eliminate Randy Orton. This set Orton off, and he RKO'd everybody in the chamber. And then AJ Styles got the bright idea, if he can enter the chamber early, he can eliminate everybody that Orton RKO'd. So Almas, his big bodyguard, tears the window or the glass off the back of Styles' pod. Styles hops out the back, runs around, enters the front door of the chamber, and tries to pin everybody that Orton just RKO'd. They all kick out, so it was basically a useless or a wasteful chance of Styles being able to stay on the pod. He wasted to try and get in early. So after that, Sheamus would enter, and then there would be a cool Tower of Doom spot involving Sheamus, McIntyre, Orton, and Styles, or Jeff Hardy and Styles. Sheamus would there would be a trust fall spot from Kofi off the top of the pod, but this would later lead to Kingston being eliminated by Sheamus, and no Kofi Mania this year. Hardy would hit a Whisper in the Wind off the top of the pod onto Sheamus and McIntyre on the outside of the ring. He would then hit AJ Styles with the Swanton Bomb, then walk right into a bro kick from Sheamus, so Jeff Hardy's eliminated. Sheamus would then hit McIntyre with a bro kick, and then Styles would hit Sheamus with a phenomenal forearm to eliminate Sheamus. McIntyre would then hit a Claymore on AJ Styles to eliminate AJ Styles and successfully retain his WWE Championship. But after the chamber is lifted off the mat, here comes Bobby Lashley, just beats the crap out of Drew McIntyre. He puts McIntyre in the Hurt Lock, throws him to the ground, and then here comes The Miz. And this was hinted at earlier in the show when you saw Miz and MVP backstage talking, so it looks like they might have worked out some sort of agreement. So I would not be surprised to see possibly Miz versus Lashley versus McIntyre at the next pay-per-view, which I think is Roadblock. But here comes Miz, he cashes in. It's the skull-crushing finale on Drew McIntyre to win his second WWE Championship. So the second reign of Drew McIntyre is over, and the second reign of The Miz officially begins tonight. And that was Elimination Chamber in a nutshell. Overall, fun show. I enjoyed it. The only match you could skip here is the Women's Championship Tag Team match, but every other match on the card was fun to watch, very entertaining, lots of cool spots. It's going to be interesting to see where the Raw brand goes. A lot of people thought The Fiend might pop up and cost Orton his spot in the chamber. That did not happen. Miz just made Bobby Lashley just made the WWE Championship picture a lot more crowded, along with Sheamus and The Miz. And then we finally got our WrestleMania main event. Etched in stone is going to be Roman Reigns defending against Edge. Yeah, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, check out my website, cincyfanzone.blogspot.com. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.